Hello everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Yes, my hair is blue. So I did dye it, like my friend did a box dye in it. So for those of you who are like, oh my gosh, you did not do a box dye, whatever. I hate my hair, I don't care about hair. Like, hair is not my thing, makeup's my thing, not hair. So she just did, we got this blue color, and so we just put it in everywhere, so that's why the rest is kind of dark, it's just not blue. But then where my blonde was, it's blue, and I freaking love it. I don't know if you guys can tell how beautiful it is, but it's literally stunning, so I'm obsessed. The next video that I'll be posting will be back with my old hair, and then I think after that everything should be regular, this hair, you know what I mean? I only pre-filmed one video the other day. Yes, I'm so excited. So today's video we will be talking about products for beginners, who are starting their makeup, what they need, like literally what they need. And so getting down to the nitty gritty, talking about brushes, products, and yeah, if you guys like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's just get started. So my sister actually requested this video, and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Because I think what's not the problem is that there are so many people who just don't know where to start, if you will, and so they just are constantly buying things, and it never, like, not that it doesn't work out, but it's never perfect, or it's never looks the way it looks online, or whatever the case may be. It never looks the way you want it to look, whatever it is. So it's really hard for people to figure out what you need, what you should have, what you shouldn't have, whatever it is. I did do a brow video, I think, a little while back ago, and I did do a foundation video, I believe, talking about, you know, just different foundations and skin types and stuff like that. So I will link those videos down below if you want to check those out as well, because it's just so hard to get into the details of everything. Skin type. Your skin type depends on what makeup you need and stuff like that. If you have oily skin, you're going to want something that's going to control those oils. Something that says matte, something that says oil control. If you have dry skin, you're going to want something that says hydrating, moisturization, anything like that. That's for dry skin. Combination skin or normal skin. Like, your skin just does what it feels like it. You can kind of go wherever you like, but you have to figure out your preferences and stuff like that. So things like that are just really, really hard. If you need help figuring out your skin type, you know, definitely comment down below and I can reach out to you or something like that. We can have a conversation. What I like to do is what I tell people is go in the shower, you know, like however you go, like do your nighttime routine, wash your face, whatever it is. And then when you don't put anything on, don't put any lotion on, whatever, see how your skin feels. If your skin feels fine, like it doesn't feel super dry. If you have dry skin, you'll realize then instantly your skin will feel like it needs something. So then you'll know you have dry skin. If it's kind of feeling like that in some areas, you're like kind of out here, kind of feels like really dry, but the center of your face doesn't feel dry, you know, you probably have combination skin. If your skin feels fine, you know, whatever it is, see how your skin reacts throughout the day. Do you have to put lotion on your face or no? Or do you feel like you're constantly having to go to the bathroom and kind of blotting out some oils, blotting out your face? You feel like your skin just kind of always looks greasy. You probably have oily skin. So that was just a real quick rundown of that kind of gist of things. This is going to be a long video, y'all can already tell. But we're going to go through like some makeup products. So I didn't want to recommend too many makeup products because I do that, you know, on this channel all the time. So if you really are curious, you know, kind of just stick around, and I recommend products all the time. I wanted to recommend, the word is products, but not actual products. I want to recommend things that you need. So let's start off. First, we're going to go through the makeup, then we'll go through some brushes. First things first is primer. I don't think you need a primer. I think a good setting spray that is like this one, a 3-in-1 setting spray. Is this a 3-in-1? Yeah, 3-in-1. You can use it for priming your skin, and then you can use it for setting your face at the end. Any setting spray from the drugstore works. You know, again, if you want a mattifying one for your oily skin, you want a hydrating one, you want a glowy one, whatever it is, do you. This one is really good. This is a Milani Make It Last. This is one of the Fruit Fetish ones, but they have the regular Milani Make It Last ones. They really make your makeup last really, really long without adding glow, without adding matte. It's not going to take away any oils. It's not mattifying, anything like that. It just sets your makeup and makes it last really long. I think that if you're starting off somewhere and you don't want like too much to do, you just take a setting spray, get a setting spray it on before you put on the rest of your makeup, and then spray it on at the end. It's the easiest way to go, and I think that it's the best because it's gonna make your makeup last long, but it won't affect any other way your makeup goes. Like, it won't make your oily skin oily, or it won't make your dry skin dry, or it won't do that. It'll just set your makeup. It's very like easy, to the point, bada bing bada boom. It's a great starting point for you. And if you want to just wear some makeup, you're like, I don't even care what skin type I have, I just want to put on makeup, this is the way to go. A good setting spray that just says, read it and read the back, and if it says 3-in-1, that it primes and sets, and this one says corrects as well. If it does that, if it's 2-in-1, primes and sets, get it, try it out, get it. Best way to go. Setting spray, you don't need a squeeze it, no, just do the setting spray, you're good to go. Even if it's just a setting spray and it says make your makeup last longer, it's just a setting spray, you can use it as a primer spray. Makeup has no rules. You can use it as a primer, do the rest of your makeup, then spray it again. 10 out of 10 recommend. It will make your makeup last all day, and it's easy. Next is, I think, you could either, if you're starting off, I think either start with a foundation or a concealer. Now, I'm not recommending these specific products. I just, any foundation that you see at the drugstore, you're like, hey, this one's cheap, let me try it. Try to match your shade to it, whatever. Try to find the right shade, whatever it is. You just need one or the other. You need foundation or concealer. I think you can hit some foundation under your eyes, whatever, hidden on this face, blend it out. We'll talk about brushing it a little bit, hit it wherever, and you're good to go. You don't need to do the whole, I feel like, for me, I really love to do foundation and concealer and the whole nine, and cream contour and the whole thing, because it adds like a lot of the dimension back into your face that foundation takes away, because it just makes your makeup, evens out everything. But I think if you're someone who's wearing this day to day and you have all the rest of the products that I'm going to talk about, you don't need both. It's not a super huge necessity. And honestly, a lot of the time they're like similar product, they're just in a smaller tube and you just get a different shade. So I think starting off, find foundation or concealer. You don't need both, and you're good to go. A good concealer, you spots conceal wherever you want and blend it out, and you're good to go. It doesn't need to be any of this hassle, this long thing like, oh, now I gotta put on foundation, now I gotta put on concealer, now I gotta do this. It can be super easy and super quick. You can get a BB cream, CC cream, and you just use your fingers. It can be so easy. Don't stress about, oh, do I get a concealer, do I get a foundation? You can go either way, doesn't matter. Try either one, whatever you like, and you see, again, whatever you find your shade in, whatever you like, or ask, someone, just say, hey, like, what foundation do you wear? And you want to try that one, you're good to go. e.l.f. has really good foundations. Nyx also does, as well as Wet n Wild. There's so many brands that have so many good foundations. So whatever one, you kind of will not go wrong, as well as concealers. All right, next, I think setting powder is a necessity, even if you have dry skin. I have bone dry skin, y'all, and I love setting powder. I think it really makes the makeup, sets the makeup, makes it last a lot longer. When you're wearing just cream foundation, you don't want something that's gonna transfer all over the place, you know what I mean? So a good setting powder is the key. This is only $3 from e.l.f. and I do really love this. So I think, if you're someone, this product specifically, if you want to try it, I think it's a good to try it as well. But I think a good setting powder is just a necessity. I think even again, if you have dry skin, oily skin, whatever, it just takes 2 seconds. You take a big fluffy brush it around, and you're good to go. I think setting powder is a necessity for everyone. I think not using setting powder is probably where a lot of people go wrong, why their makeup doesn't last all day, why it fades or whatever, but why you rub something and then half your face comes off. Setting powder, it's a necessity. It's a really great it's a great product to have and to use, and so I think everyone needs a good setting powder. e.l.f. has amazing setting powders. So many brands have so many amazing setting powders. I think first things first, if you're starting off for real, go straight to the e.l.f. section. So many hit products for so cheap. Just do it and just try it, girl. Just do it and try. Next is bronzer. I feel like, again, e.l.f. has a great bronzer. The thing is that with bronzer, it's hard because you gotta get the right shade. I think a bronzer just adds something to the face that, even if you just put on like a little bit of concealer, setting powder, and then you bronze, and you're good to go. I feel like that's a great product to have as well, because it just adds a little, I go ham on my bronzer. You don't have to, but I think it adds a little bit of like, ooh, like, oh, she looks cute, like a little bit of sun-kissedness and whatever. So you want to get a bronzer that's a little deeper than your skin, but a hair deeper, like nothing super dark. This is a great example. I have this Essence bronzing powder palette. I love this palette so much. It has a light shade, a medium shade, and a deep shade. So I would never go and just put this bronzer on my face. It's way too deep. You can see how much deeper it is for my skin. Now, the shade that I would go for is probably this one, and I would mix in a little bit this one because I'm a little bit paler because of my my tan faded from the summer. So this one is, you can see how it's just a little bit bronzier than my skin tone, and it literally just warms the face up, gives you a little bit of life, and brings your skin back to life after foundation and concealer or whatever, foundation or concealer. So I think just go a hair deeper than your actual skin tone and you're good to go. I love bronzer. I think, again, it really adds something to the face. I think it's a necessity. Now we're about to get a little bit of, we're gonna get a little disagreements here. I personally think blush is an absolute necessity. I know so many people though who don't wear blush and look beautiful. So it's really like, depends on how you feel. I'm a blushaholic. I'm a blushaholic. And so Wet n Wild has these $2, $3 blushes, so freaking good. Get any shade you want. They have so many shades and they're only $3. So bomb, they last all they do, don't move. But I think blush is, again, something that just brings something back into the face. Some people don't like blush because they are naturally red. They don't want to bring more red. That's totally okay. But I think it just adds something else to the skin. You know, you have your concealer, you have your bronzer. The blush just finishes it off for me. And I think between blush and highlighter, there are a group of people who just wear highlighter, some people just wear blush, some people wear both. That's totally okay. For me, I think blush is a little bit more of a necessity than highlighter. Obviously, if you guys want highlighter, highlighter is beautiful. I'm wearing highlighter today. I'm wearing it all today. So I think, you know, wherever you feel comfortable, it just adds a little something extra to the face. And I think blush is a little bit more natural than highlighter, so that's why I personally say blush. Go for blush, but you know, highlighter is good too. I know my sister, she just wears highlighter. But I think you can't go wrong with either thing. All right, let's jump to brows real quick. I think everyone just needs a good and fresh brow pencil. You know, there are so many other brow products, and you go and you it's kind of overwhelming just going to the drugstore now, because, or even just Target, T-Mac, because there's so many versions of everything. A pencil, just get a pencil with a super thin tip, and you're good to go. I just think, you know, some people have super thin brows, and so it's really hard, but I think brow pencils are just the easiest. You just fill it in, bada bing, bada boom, and then you can, you know, say, you know, well, I'm not really filling the brow pencil, but I like the way my eyebrows look when they're filled in. Let me try something else. You can go for pomade, powder, whatever. It can lead you into the next steps, but I think to start, a brow pencil. Just start with a brow pencil, traditional little fine tip, you're good to go. It's super easy. I did a brow video, so I can link that down below. I just line underneath, line on top, and then I fill in like I'm making hairs. Today I'm actually wearing a pomade, which looks like this. But I think a brow pencil, definitely a necessity, just something. Even if you feel like, you know, I have bushy brows, I'm not going to use it. Brow pencil, just, you know, add a little something, play around with it. Necessity, I think. All right, next is eyeshadow, and I don't personally think that eyeshadow is a huge necessity. I think, you know, people just love to play around with it, of course, and so I think there's so many options, so many different things that I don't necessarily need to go into too much detail. I really think that if you are someone who really just doesn't want to bother with eyeshadow, grab some bronzer and throw it in your crease, girl. Grab a blush and just psh, and you're good to go. It adds a little something to the eyes, but not too much. I love ColourPop's eyeshadow palettes, and I love Beige Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. There's so many cheap palettes that I do love and I do recommend, but I just don't know if it's a super huge necessity for someone starting off in makeup. I just don't think you need eyeshadow, if you will. Obviously, to each their own, but you know what I mean? I think a big necessity though is definitely mascara. Again, I don't have one to show you specifically. I know Maybelline has some amazing mascaras. The whole drugstore has amazing mascaras. I just don't have so many of them. But mascara just really sets off the face. I think mascara, like when you have full face of makeup on, or not a full face, if you just have like a little bit of concealer, bronzer, blush, and you know, some whatever lip product, brows, and you don't have mascara on, I feel like it looks so weird. I think a mascara is a 10 out of 10 necessity. Just something to make your lashes look girly and wispy and beautiful, and they don't need to be the most dramatic or anything like that. You don't need false eyelashes, anything like that. I don't even think you need eyeliner, anything like that. Just a little bit of mascara, girl. You're good to go. And then last for the makeup section is lips. I think everyone just needs a good and fresh clear gloss, no matter what. I think, oh my gosh, I think that clear gloss will save you every single time. You know, if you're just, again, you don't know what to do, or maybe you did buy an eyeshadow palette and you're like, what lip do I match it with? Girl, always go with a clear gloss. It always sets the look off, and your lips look juicy and voluptuous and still nice and like you have something going on, but it's nothing bold, and you don't have to match this to this or this to that and this to whatever. I think clear gloss, the way to go. This is the Revlon Super Lustrous Gloss. I love this gloss so much. I'm gonna put some on right now. You can see how it just transformed my lips. And again, you don't need to have anything on underneath. Obviously I do, but you know, you don't need to. I think a clear gloss is just, it just takes the look to another level without much thought. And I think that's the key to beginning makeup, is just doing it, you know, just doing things without thought. And I think that's the simplicity of the products that I'm mentioning here. Just, you don't have to think about it. You just got to do it, and then you're good to go. Lip gloss, way to go. Clear gloss, way to go. If you guys are interested in lipsticks, my favorite are the Milani Color Statement lipsticks. I have the one in matte naked, which is a nice nudie kind of shade. I love this lipstick formula if you're someone who wants to try some lipsticks. I have so many lipsticks, you know. Do I think everyone needs that many? No, but I know people love to wear lipsticks. And if you want to add something, Milani Color Statements are really, really good too. I think in lipstick, you can't go wrong with lipstick. Obviously, you know, then you have to be like, what color matches with what color, whatever. Don't worry about that right now. I think, you know, if you just want to try a lipstick, those are those. But again, a clear gloss. Way to go. All right. Let's go into the brushes real quick. Number one. I think for foundation, whatever, even if you're not foundation, if you don't like it, you need a sponge. This one is from Target. It looks a lot cleaner in this one. Target, the Up and Up brand. It's literally like $2. It's the best. Dampen your sponge, y'all. Dampen it. It needs to double in size. You just put it under the faucet and squeeze it out. It will transform your makeup. Now again, that's a lot of work, and so I don't think everyone needs a sponge, needs to use a sponge for foundation, but I think at some point, you know, you just want to tap a little bit of your makeup on like this, and just, it sets everything into the face and makes it look a lot more skin-like. But if you don't want to use that for a foundation brushes are really nice. It's something like this. It's a flat, like kind of, they're usually called kabuki brushes, or you'll see the word foundation brush on them, but they have a flat edge and they're a little bit more dense, so the product can hold on to your skin. Or like the foundation can go onto your skin and keep the coverage instead of the sponge, which absorbs it. So again, that's a lot, but a foundation brush, I think, you know, you can do either one, but I think something, or your fingers. I don't do that, but either one will work. Bada bing, bada bing. For setting powder, I love to just use a giant fluffy brush. You can find this one. I got this one at TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx has them. They're all over the store. They're cheap. You can get them for dirt cheap, so don't pay an arm and a leg. They're literally just fluffy, big brushes, and I just, it takes 2 seconds. You're good to go. Love a good fluffy, big brush. I think bronzer. Okay, can I mention, please? I have so many brushes. Obscene. You don't need that many brushes, but number one, you need to have a good amount of brushes. You cannot use the same brush for bronzer, blush, and highlighter. You can't do it. Your makeup will never look good. It will look muddy, it will look crazy, and you will always wonder why your makeup does not look good. You need clean blushes, you need clean brushes, and you need a few brushes. You don't need one. I mean, you can't use one for all the color. Ooh, ow. I really poked myself. You can't use one for all the colors on your eyes. You can't do it, guys. That is what will make or break your makeup. It's the brushes. And I know, like, you can have the best products in the whole world. If you have the same freaking brush and you use it for every single color, your makeup will look bad every single time. Rant over. Sorry, I didn't mean to come for all of you who use one brush, but I'm telling you, that is what is probably making your makeup, like, not perfection. It's because you're using the same brush. You can't do it. I think you need different brushes. If there's anything you want to splurge on, of course, you know, eyeshadow palettes are fun to splurge on. You know, sometimes some things are fun to splurge on, but I think splurge on getting a brush roll, a set of brushes. Elf has a lot of brush sets that are like under 20 bucks. Get a whole brush set. Amazon has a bunch of brush rolls. They're so good, so cheap. Get them. You have to do it. You have to invest because one brush ain't gonna do it, girl. Ain't gonna do it. All right. Sorry, rant over. For bronzer, I think you can have a few options here. I really like a big fluffy brush like this one, kind of just bada bing, bada boom. But sometimes I like a more pointed brush that just goes right in there. This is also called a powder brush, so you can use it for powder, whatever you want. Again, brushes have no rules. You can do whatever you want, but you want something like for powders, you want something that's a little bit more loose and not as dense as a foundation brush. Sorry, I don't know why I screamed that word, but not as like dense as a foundation brush. You want something a little bit fluffier for your powders, just so that they blend a little bit easier. Again, e.l.f. has amazing brushes. So good. All right, for blush, you got lots of options. I love a good stippling brush for blushes. It just makes them, oh, boom, boom, and you're good to go, girl. Or you can use a flat brush like this that just, again, makeup has no rules. So you can use this for bronzer, whatever you like. Don't use the same brush for bronzer and blush. Don't do it. And then there's also these kind of brushes. This is literally called the e.l.f. blush brush. You can just, I like these for highlighters because it cups the top of my cheek and I think it looks so nice. So if you wanted to try that, you can use it for bronzer, you can use it for powder, whatever you like. Okay, and then real quick for highlighter, there are a few options too. You can, of course, use a fan brush. People really like fan brushes. They used to be a lot bigger before. They work perfectly fine. You know, just hit it on like this, and you're good to go. Fan brushes work really nice. But more recently, people have been using brushes kind of like these. They're really small, but they come to like a point at the top. So they're really tiny, and then it just kind of hugs the cheek as well. And so they're really nice for highlighter as well. So kind of, again, for brushes, it's hard because my preferences, I really love to use a stippling brush for blush. Not everyone likes to do that, and not everyone needs to do that. It doesn't have to go that way, you know what I mean? So it really depends on preferences. Those are the brushes though that I think, you know, if you see a brush, an angled brush like this, probably don't use it for setting powder because it's gonna do weird things on your face. Try to go for a bigger brush for setting powder, you know what I mean? So those are things you just gotta pay attention to. Get more than one brush. My only tip for brushes, get more than one. Even if it's the same brush, if you have 3 brushes that look like this, totally okay. One for setting powder, one for bronzer, one for blush, totally okay. But have multiple of them, you know? All right, enough said about that. Let's go on to eyes real quick. I just have 5 here. I think, you know, if you wanted, you could honestly go for 4 of these brushes and you'll be totally okay. 3 of these brushes, you'll be okay. Just, you know, wash them from day to day, because even day to day, you probably, unless you're doing the same look, you probably shouldn't use the same brush if you're gonna use different colors, you know what I mean? So whatever. But a big fluffy brush, you need a big fluffy brush. I don't care what makeup look you're doing on your eyes, you need a big fluffy brush, y'all. One big fluffy brush. Even if you use your bronzer for your eyeshadow, dip your bronzer in and fluff it all the way around, everywhere, you need a fluffy brush. It helps with the blend. And you know, some people just kind of have harsh lines on their eyes all the time, or their eyeshadow just doesn't look as perfect as they want. It's because they're not blending, and you need a good brush, big brush like this to just help blend. Even if you're not doing a crazy eye, if you're doing something easy, quick one, so you're like, I'm just gonna grab this color, put it on my eye, totally fine. You just need to blend it. Blend the edges, blend everything. You're good to go. Fluffy brush. This is the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. 10 out of 10 recommend. I really like a brush like this. This is like kind of an extra brush. This is the e.l.f. blending brush. e.l.f. has stupid names. But this is a flatter, kind of skinnier brush. So it's really good for getting into the crease, especially if you have hooded eyes and like the outer corner, even the lower lash line. This is like kind of like if you're going to do something a little bit more extreme. If you want, you know, to add a color to blend and then a second color, this is a good one to kind of get in there. So it's not a necessity, but I think if you're someone who wants to do a little bit more fun eye looks, you can have, this brush is a good one to have. That's a little bit skinnier this way, and then still flat and long. Okay. Next, I think this is a necessity, but again, if you're not doing anything fancy, you really just doing one eyeshadow shade looks, whatever, you're fine. You just need the blending brush. This is a good one too. This is called the contour brush for e.l.f. But this really is like a small little domed brush that looks like you don't use it for anything. It's really good for packing on color in the outer corner. If you want to add some bronzer on the crease and you want to take the bronzer and just pack it on the side as well, it adds dimension to the eye without being too dramatic, whatever. And so I really love little pointed brushes like this for the outer corner. Again, if you're just doing easy looks, not a necessity, but I thought it'd be worth the mention. All right, and last but not least, a flat brush. Guys, I need to calm down. You guys have done nothing wrong and I'm screaming at you. But when people use a fluffy brush for shimmers, nothing drives me more nuts. Because it ruins, what's the point of ruining shimmer if you're just gonna blend it all away? All the shimmer goes away when you use a fluffy brush. You need it, everyone needs one flat brush. I have like 6. Everyone just needs one flat brush like this. It's completely flat. There's no fluff to it. It's the flat brush you will see in your life. I don't have my e.l.f. one with me. I think I threw it out because it was so old, but they're so good. You just need it. All you need to do is dip it in a shimmer and put it on your lid. You can even use bronzer in your crease and then put a highlighter on your lid, whatever, if you want to, you know, spice it up a little bit. If you're not, you know, using shimmers or anything like that, if you don't even know what shimmer means, I'm so sorry. It's literally shades that have like sparkle in them. You know what I mean? Like those are shimmers, these are mattes. If you're just using, you know, you're not doing anything special, then it's not a necessity, but I think everyone should have one just in case. It's just a flat brush. It just makes the eyeshadow look pop and look so beautiful, and it really helps your makeup, it takes your makeup to the next level. And of course, we're talking level 1 here, but you know, level 2 is not that far from 1. So if you really want to just take it an inch further, you just need a flat brush. Please, guys, I am begging you to get a flat brush. All right. So that is basically everything. You know, we talked about a lot. Again, if you have any questions, definitely comment down below. I hope I hit everything that I wanted to hit, you know, and I hope that this like answers the question of, you know, where do I start? What do I start with? I think, again, it's the most important thing about starting is just to start easy. You don't need to do all the extra eyeliner, winged eyeliner. You don't need to do lip liner. Don't worry about the extra. Just worry about the start. Base start. Think about like your mother's old makeup. Like, what did she have? She probably had a compact foundation, and that was like literally it, and a red lipstick and a black eyeliner. And that's it. You know, think basic. And so I hope that this helps somebody out there. Start somewhere. You know, for those of you who have been watching my YouTube forever and you have a butt ton of makeup like I do, obviously this is like the video for you. But if you ever want to go back to the basics and you're like, you know, well, my bronzer just never looks right. What am I doing wrong? You know, maybe the shade's wrong. Maybe the brush is wrong. So, yes. Alright, so the quote for today is, occasionally, what you have to do is go back to the beginning and see everything in a new way. Fitting, huh? Almost like I planned it. That's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.